Chalo, so this is lecture 2. Here we are going to just see like introductory part of starting this NLP. Before starting this NLP, so how we are going to store the text in the what are the features, what is raw data, and how we are going to use this features or text as a input to the while training the model. Okay, so just preliminaries part we are going to discuss today. Okay, in brief. So now because we have seeing we have millions of data is generating every second, like data continuously is generating. We are typing so much, we are active on social media, and so many so these are some of these statistics, like so much huge data is available with us these days, right? So data is new oil, and we have we have capability to make machine learn that data and utilize that data for the task that we are doing, that the task that humans are doing. So statistics says that approximately 80% of the whole data estimated is unstructured data, like we are posting something, we are doing blog posts or something like that. 40 million articles in Wikipedia, 4.5 billion web pages are there, more than 4.5 billion. Then we have tweets, so much 500 millions are tweets are generating every day. Okay, so many queries, Google search data is generated every minute, every second. So we all know that we are so much at every minute, every day, every second we are using this internet, and we are generating so much huge data in the form of text basically. So what if we utilize this data, we utilize this text that we are generating into some useful applications, into doing those tasks which we do manually. Okay, so NLP is all about that. Okay, so when I'm talking about Twitter, so a simple Twitter profile of a person shows so many things about the overall, so we can get so much information from a simple profile, from a simple Twitter profile, like how many, what is the time that tweet was posted. Okay, what was the popularity of that tweet, how many people are following that tweet, and what are the sentiments of people who are following that tweet or the person on a Twitter. Okay, or any other social media platform, and who is the author, what is the description, means what is the profile of that author, and how many people are following such profiles on social media, and what is the location, what is the location from which that tweet was posted. Okay, sentiment of that tweet. So many information is available from a single tweet or single blog post that we are generating. Okay, so we can utilize this all information in processing, in training our models, and getting something good out of it. Okay, so this is just example. Similarly, this is example of Twitter data. Besides this, we have so many blog posts, Google search queries, we have so much other search engines where people are searching so much every minute, every second, and that data can also be utilized. Similarly, we have Facebook posts. Facebook post, if you have, you might have noticed, like if we are searching something on Google, so right away Facebook starts showing recommendations to the things, like we want to purchase something or something like that. So everything is, also all the data is processing in the real time. Okay, so now, so when I'm talking about raw data, so I'm talking about text in this NLP. Okay, so when I'm saying that we are processing some data, so that means I'm talking about text data. That text data can be in the form of blogs, tweets, documents, or short blogs, like maybe like tweet or something like that, or maybe any query, Google search query. So if I'm talking about raw data, that means we are talking about text. Okay, now vocabulary. So what is vocabulary? So can anyone tell me what is vocabulary in, we have studied some of this part in deep learning also. So if I'm talking about a document, so what is the vocabulary of a document?
All the unique words in the document.
Right, all the unique words in a document. Now we have suppose 10 documents, then
सारे 10 documents में से जो जितने unique words हैं.
right. So what happens is 10 documents में जितने unique words हैं उसमें ऐसा हो सकता है कि डॉक्यूमेंट ए में जो वर्ड्स हैं वो डॉक्यूमेंट बी में ना हो, और जो डॉक्यूमेंट बी में जो वर्ड्स हैं वो डॉक्यूमेंट ए में ना हो. Okay, there is no overlapping in words, set of words. So vocabulary size would increase. Vocabulary size would be having all the unique words of document A and all the unique words of document B. So what I'm trying to say is, suppose I have 10 documents and each and every document is representing different set of words. It is having different set of words. So vocabulary size would be larger. Okay, and we'll see how features are generated from this. So any idea about features? So if I'm talking about text, so let's say I'm considering one word as a feature. Okay, so if one word is a feature, that this means like okay, in a vocabulary we have all the set of unique words. So if let's say we have two documents, document A and a document B, and document A has 10 unique words and document B has 10 unique words, and those 20 words are all different, so these are all unique. Okay, now we have in the vocabulary we have 20 words. Okay, and each and every word, if I talk about features, so each and every word is representing a feature. And if I'm talking about the whole data set, so I will say, okay, first word is present in my first training sample. First training sample is my first document and second training sample is my second document. So in first training sample, number of features that were present were 10 and rest 10 were zeros. Okay, so this is a basically sparse matrix, right? Because in first document, first 10 features were there. In second documents, last 10 features were there. Okay, so this is how we are talking about features. So if I'm talking about features, I'm talking about the unique words, and we will also see like there are other methods where we can extract those features. So we'll see as we move forward to this course, we'll find out, we'll see ways to extract features from the documents. One document can be one tweet, one document can be one text file or something like that. Okay, and one document, here I am saying document means it is one training example. Okay, so number of features, here we have discussed is the size of the vocabulary. So number of unique features is number of unique words, total number of unique words, which is the vocabulary size. Okay, so n is number of features and v is the size of vocabulary, so which is same here. Now there are ways to represent the features. Okay, we'll see. So this is just example. So first training example says I'm happy because I'm learning NLP. So if you see the vocabulary over here, so I am happy because I am is already there. So it is not unique. So it's repetitive. So we are not representing it again. Then we have learning NLP. So learning NLP. Okay. Then I am happy. So I am happy was already there. So no need to put it into vocabulary. Then I am sad. So I am sad was not there. So we are putting it into vocabulary. So now we have set of unique words, and I will say that this is my feature set size. Number of features are 8. Okay. So this is called basically segmentation. So in segmentation, what we are doing is we are breaking down stream of text into set of words, phrases, symbols, or any other meaningful elements These are called tokens. So every word here is called token. And the main goal of this step is to extract individual word in a sentence. All right. So this is example of feature extraction. Here I have considered, we are considering like one word as a one feature. Okay. So 0 when that word is not present and 1 when that word is present. So this is our first training example representing the following set of features. So I am happy because learning NLP hated the movie. This is vocabulary. Total number of features. Now, we can see that this is a sparse representation because as we have discussed that this example where 10 words were unique in document A and 10 words, different words were there in document B. So all those tens are zeros for document A training example, and for document B training example, starting tens would be zeros. So there are so many zeros. So when we are talking about features, it should be having some numerical value, some good value that that makes sense. So whenever I'm talking about like one document or one training example, if it is having so many number of zeros, then what is the use of it? So we always need a better way to represent our set of features. So we always do dimensionality reduction and other things like to reduce our feature set size. Okay, and it should be having, so suppose if we are having, so we have discussed only the data set with two training examples with having one document A and document B. Suppose data set was having 1,000 such documents. So vocabulary size would be very, very large and number of zeros would be very, very large in every training sample feature set, right? So if number of zeros are very, very large, so many number of zeros are there and very few values are non-zeros in a matrix. So that is a sparse matrix definitely, and we don't require such metrics while training our input model because while giving as input to our model, right? We don't want such inputs. So there are variety of ways from which we can extract features. So I'm going to discuss here one way of representing the features. So one way is, so disadvantages of this is saying disadvantages of sparse representation is definitely because a sparse matrix is of very large size and it is having so many zeros, and it will definitely increase the training and prediction time of the model, and it will not be useful because so many zeros we are giving as input to the model, right? So this is not required. So to avoid this, one way is we just count the positive and negative frequency words. Suppose we want to classify these sentences as a positive or a negative. So this is a classification problem, suppose, and we want to classify the each and every training example as a positive sentence or a negative sentence. Okay. So what we'll do is we will, we will calculate the count of the positive frequency words and count of the negative frequency words. Okay, now let's look at the data set. So the data set says I am happy because I am learning NLP. So this first sentence is a positive sentence, second is a positive, third one is a negative sentence, and fourth one is a negative sentence. So you can see so we have two positive sentences and two negative sentences. So in a positive sentence we have I am is appearing 3 times, happy is appearing 2 times over here, because is appearing 1 time, and learning is appearing 1 time. So we'll see. So I am is appearing 3 times, happy 2 times, because NLP and learning is 1 time, right? Similar goes for this negative sentence. So what we have done is we have just counted the presence of the word, presence of that word in the vocabulary. And now what we are doing is we will generate, so we'll generate our feature set based on these counts. Instead of the presence or absence of that word, we are just creating a feature set with this is frequency of presence of positive word, and this is frequency of presence of a negative word, right? So count of positive and count of negatives. So this is our first training example. So first 8 and 11. 8 is the total sum of frequencies of positive words. So if you see, underlined ones are negative ones. So 3 plus 3 plus 1 plus 1. Okay. So this is 11. Okay. And a negative word is from this one. If you count over here, positive words, if you have to count, okay, you will get 8. So this is sum of positive and sum of negative. So we are just counting the negative words and the positive words from the whole data set, and we are generating the counts. We are using the counts as frequencies instead of the whole presence or absence of that word. So just a simple thing. So we have just counted the presence of ones and zeros, and which was 8 and 11 for our first training example. Okay, I am sad, I'm not learning NLP. And for second, we'll do the same and so on. So this is our feature set. Okay. So this is just a simple example. There are so many other ways from which we can create a feature set. Okay. So okay, so then we have discussed like tokenization. So simple example of tokenization is we are dividing a sentence into set of words, and then we are counting the presence of positive and negative word, and we are giving that count as an input feature to our model instead of giving the presence of absence to avoid sparse representation. Okay, so this is example. Now after we are we have tokenized our word. So there are so many other words like to, in, at, from. So these words do not actually represent a positive or a negative value. So these are neutral words, maybe neutral, or maybe they do not play a role in classifying into class A or class B. So such words are need to be removed. So stop words are such words which are noisy in nature and which are not responsible for classifying into either a class A or class B. Okay, so we need to remove such words. So example of stop words are hers, between, yourself, but, again. So but, again, there, about, these words do not represent class A or class B. Okay, so then we have stemming. So we have already studied these things in deep learning. So it's just a quick review of that. So in stemming, we all know, like, we have some sentence and we have generated the words, set of words out of it, and after suppose I have studies and study, universities and university. So both are the one and the same thing, but just because es is added and so many other prefix and suffix, small suffixes and small prefixes are added, so word is the same. So basically replacing the whole word with the base word is stemming. Okay, example is, so we have cropped this study es into study. Okay, so ing, as, such words are, so these two are Spanish words, so such words are cropped. So identifying the base word like ing, playing, eating, so removing ing. So play, plays, playing. So play, plays, playing. So in all these, if you do stemming, so it will count as, play will count as 3. Okay, so frequency of play will be 3. So this is stemming. Now the disadvantage of this is studies and study both represent the one and the same thing, right? So disadvantage of stemming is it does not uses the context of the word, while in lemmatization that is not the case. So in lemmatization, what happens is it basically goes with the morphological information of the word, and it converts. So it knows, like, if that person is talking about study, so studies will be converted to study, and studying will also be converted into study. Okay, so this is the advantage of lemmatization. So stemming only crops the remaining part of the word, while lemmatization retains its context, reads its context, and generate a base word using the context of the words. Okay, so just a quick a review of what are the pre-processing steps that we do before before starting giving our data to some models or something like that. So just pre-processing information. Okay, then we have capitalization. So we generally prefer to use lowercase, and we convert all the cases to lowercase, but this also again generates some problems, like abbreviations should not be in lowercase. If someone has written US, so it's not us, it's US means United States of America. All right, so then we have again solutions to this, so we are going to discuss this in detail throughout. Then we have, okay, so that's all. So there are so many other text processing, pre-processing things that we can do before NLP. Now in next week's lab, so what you have to do is you have to pre-process the text. Some text are already, corpuses are already given in NLTK toolkit if you have gone through it. So I'll tell you how to do that. Okay, so you have to pre-process the whole text. You have to do apply. You have to apply stemming, lemmatization, and you have to pre-process that text, remove capitalization, and so many other things are there. Okay, so that is why just a basic overview of pre-processing, so that in next lab, whenever it's your turn is, so at that time you will be able to start with it. Okay, so just a quick overview about this. So anything, any questions about this? I think you people have already done this. Okay. Okay, any other? Okay, so I have discussed this thing today because this part was already somewhat covered in deep learning also. So you people were knowing all this, I guess. So from next week onwards, we'll start with we'll get into details of this according to your syllabus. Okay, so that's all for today.